My name is Joseph Franchina. I live in Narragansett. Mr. Chairman, committee members, thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. It's been quite enlightening to hear all the various thoughts and ideas. Just a few things. Really, this is not a political issue. We're dealing with people, little people. And before we wave our magic wand, be it in a law or any other way, there are repercussions from that. There are forces arrayed here that are pushing very hard. We've had Roe versus Wade since '73. Abortion's been legalized since that time. Now we see, and I'm against the 7340 bill. For what I understand it to do is to push the boundaries of abortion even further along. That's the last thing we want to do. Why? Because we're risking further destruction of human life. We're giving convenience to areas that we should not have convenience in. I've heard a lot of thoughts and discussions about how many lives are saved through abortions. But, and I'll use this little cliche, are we throwing the baby out with the bathwater here? And let me explain that a little bit. It was mentioned, I think, the World Health Organization, one of the individuals said there were 69,000 preventable deaths in the world. 69,000 in a world of 7 billion people. And every life is worth it, whether it's a mom or a child. But do we kill millions of children, which we have done? If you recall, since '73, we've legally killed over 55 million. 55 million. That is 17% of our current U.S. population. Let's forget the morality right now. I can't, because that rage is huge in my eyesight, because we are culpable for the laws that we make in our country. Culpable. 17%. But let's forget the morality just for a few moments and remind ourselves what those 55 or 60 million children, if they were allowed to be born, maybe 10% were born in poverty, maybe 20% were born in poverty, so what? Andrew Carnegie was a poor guy when he came to this country over 100 years ago, and he was the head of U.S. Steel and Pennsylvania Railroad and others like him. So poverty plays no part in this issue. That is not part of the equation. You must keep your eyes on what is important here. It's life. We are killing children. In this state alone, we've heard the number, over 5,000 a year in the smallest state of the union. We can't even maintain a population of 1 million. We might lose a legislative seat in the federal government. And we're killing 5,000 a year in this state alone. And the money is enormous. There is tremendous amounts of money. Abortions go anywhere from $350 up to $3,000. And when you're talking 339,000 by Planned Parenthood alone, we're talking numbers of 100 million to up to $700 million a year in cash receipts, depending upon the extreme limits of whether they're all cheap abortions or all expensive abortions. There are tremendous forces laid against us, and it should not taint your decision on what those laws are doing to our children. We are killing children day in and day out. And I would ask, I know several crisis pregnancy area facilities within the area. One particularly, CareNet. I'd like to ask the Planned Parenthood, do they do ultrasounds when a person comes in and asks for an abortion? I don't think they do. I'm not absolutely sure of that, but I doubt they do. Because the reason is, if an ultrasound is performed on a mother coming in, and she sees that, the chances are much higher that she will keep that child. There's a reason for that, because you see a child. We have a serious problem in our country. Our medical facilities are exemplary in their technology. And it's a wonderful thing, but it's also a big problem. Because we are so clinical, it's so clean. All this talk of fetuses becomes just some mumbo jumbo, meaning very little. And we're forgetting what we're doing here. We're forgetting what we're doing. So I'd ask, your jobs are very difficult, but with the responsibility that you have, you must consider the child that's being executed. 5,000 a year in Rhode Island alone. Approximately 1 million a year in the US. 750,000. That's real numbers. Regardless of what the doctors say about it saves the embarrassment of a parent, worried about parents. Yes, all those things are there. It's a serious problem. We are human beings with free will, and we make decisions every day, and some of them are horrific. But there are responsibilities and repercussions for those things. But we're putting the repercussions on the child that had nothing to say about it, and they're being destroyed. Why? Because it's convenient. A pill can do it. We have the morning after pill. My gosh, we can kill the child without even seeing a doctor. And yet our schools are flooded with condoms and over, and every kid knows how to protect themselves, but they don't do it. So who takes the burden? The child. We must stop that. This law, this new law being enacted, first of all, it's truly unnecessary. We have more abortions than we need to date. Why there's a requirement to do more and more and more is beyond me, frankly. But you have the right and the power to enact these laws. I implore you, for your own peace of mind, understand what these laws will do. And they're going to increase abortions, because human beings want the easy way out. We always do. But that doesn't make it right. And it doesn't make it good. And in the end, it doesn't make it helpful for us, because now we have to live with the consequences of abortions. And there's many suicide rates are increased with women that have committed abortions. Those are facts you can find very clearly. Let me just end with this. Hitler killed 6 to 10 million people. Children also, by the way, club-footed and mentally challenged children. Stalin killed about 20 million. Mao Zedong about 75 million. He's the only one that's killed more than the US legally. Pol Pot, by the way, in Cambodia killed about 1 million people. So we're ahead of the pack in this area, and it's a devastating issue. Our Social Security system, by the way, depends on a population growth. Well, when you're killing off 17% of a population, we're in serious trouble there too. So that's a little statement regarding that doesn't require anything dealing with morality, which seems to be a problem that many of us might have here. And we have to be careful of that. Thank you very much.